wonderful students, what's happening? Today we are thinking about composition, right? A really important element of any visual design which is used to communicate ideas. But what is it? Composition is about the arrangement or organizing the visual elements in an image in a purposeful way, planning out where you place specific elements, whether those be colors, shapes, images, symbols throughout your piece, to promote your ideas that you're trying to communicate. What we're really focusing on with composition, is the way that it helps to highlight those important ideas. It can create mood, and how it helps us understand relationships between ideas within an image. One of the main components of composition, something that's really crucial for us to understand, is the idea of a focal point. A focal point is the area or areas within a scene that command the visual attention of the viewer. In most cases, they can deal with the main subject, but not always. And every work of art, every piece of visual communication should have at least one focal point. In other words, a focal point is something that a visual communicator wants their audience to see because it is an important element within the piece. Now, we've got several different ways that we create focal points. These are going to be important because they help us consider how we want to sneak our ideas in. The first is contrast. And contrast is just a significant difference in color, value, size, or anything else within an image that pulls the viewer's eye to that specific area of contrast. So we've got this image here of tomatoes. All of them are red except for one, which is green. So naturally, our eye is drawn to that green tomato as a focal point. There is also isolation. And we create this focal point by separating elements from other elements. Artists are telling us to look at that isolated thing. Please pay attention to this thing that is separate. So in this image, we have a pile of coins. And then in the foreground, separate from the other coins, is another one. That shows the viewer that that isolated coin is our focal point, and that is what we should be paying attention to. There's also placement. Placement is the most basic of the focal point methods. We are naturally, as human beings, attracted to the center of shapes. It's just a natural thing that we do. We are drawn to the middle of composition. However, if all images were in the dead center of a picture, that would be very, very boring. So, often, artists put their subjects slightly off center to make it feel more natural and less static. Then we have convergence. This is one of the more complex means of creating focal points. This goes along with the idea of movement. So the artist uses shapes, lines, or colors to guide our eyes towards the focal point of the piece. Now, if we're looking at this image on the right, we can see that our focal point is this little guy in the distance. Let's look around that little guy, and you're going to see a lot of lines and shapes that are leading us to that image. The road narrows towards him. There are lines on either side. The sidewalks seem to point towards him. All of our city shapes point towards him. This is convergence. Using these elements, in this case primarily lines and shape, to guide our eyes towards that focal point. Now, in terms of words used to describe composition, because it's going to be very important that you're able to adequately describe the way an image is organized, these are some classics that you can use very easily. Symmetrical, asymmetrical, cohesive, exaggerated, distorted, natural, unnatural, chaotic, balanced, top-heavy, unified, harmonious, flowing, continuous, orderly, parallel, horizontal, vertical, still, swirling, contrasting, organic, flat, geometric. I think I did contrasting a second time. My bad. Sprawling, tight, and emphasized. Make sure you are using specific adjectives, specific language to describe the way a piece is organized. It's going to make your description much clearer. All right, crew. Have a great day. We'll see ya.